What was the first game that made you feel an intense emotion? That question is the one that propelled me to create the Battle Budz podcast. This podcast stands on 3 different pillars. The pillars of challenge, growth, and support. Challenge. We believe that challenge is the catalyst, the thing that pushes us forward and actually makes us into the better versions of ourselves. Whether you're challenging yourself in a solo game or challenging yourself in a multiplayer game, there's still challenge. And after each game, if you pay attention, you'll be that much better at anything that you do. Growth. There are always people better than you. That's for sure. Whether it is a 10-year-old cracked out of his mind on Fortnite or some guy who's been playing RuneScape for years. Either way, there's something to be learned from those people. There's something to be learned about their journeys and how they got there. And if you're willing to accept it, you can grow from that experience. And lastly, support. Support is the thing that I believe has been missing from gaming for a while. Yes, we have support groups for games that people love and adore, and you're talking to people that are the same like you. But if you actually start to jump in and let people support you in things that you know nothing about, give you new knowledge, give you new perspectives, you probably will be able to understand and appreciate this thing we call gaming that much more. This podcast is all about exploring those ideals from people's gamers' journeys, from people's wins, from people's defeats. We're going to explore them all. I appreciate everybody who's decided to tune into this first episode, and there's more to come. Right now, we have an amazing interview coming up. I'm hoping that you guys stick around for the long haul. Thanks, and enjoy the show. And go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
All right. What is good, y'all? It is the Young King Ken. You know, I just do gaming, gameplays. I just talk about games. This is what I do.
Let's actually get right into it, brother. So, as you know, our mission here on the podcast is to explore how video games influence us personally, influenced us emotionally, culturally, especially not only when it comes to how we gamed, but how we interact with the media and how we interact with the actual equipment, how that changed our perspectives and how that shaped us and pushed us towards friends, actually. So let's start at the beginning, man. What was your earliest gaming memory?
I'll say the earliest gaming memory I had was actually the first time I played video games. It was a March in 1998. I was like 2.5, and I seemed like my dad playing the OG Super Mario Bros. For the NES, and I know he let me like play like a couple levels, and of course like I wasn't good, but like that got me hooked into gaming. You know, I was a very busy body, just running all around the place, but like once they showed me like gaming, it was like I'm put glued to the TV.
Oh, yeah, I was focused.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I can relate to that so much. Me personally, Christmas of 98, I had a SNES, and same deal. I was like, what's this? What's that? Went around, ooh, this is cool. But when I had that Batman Returns in front of me for Christmas of 98, man, it's kind of weird how even as a kid, I looked at it and I was like, nobody knows how to fix this. Yellow, yellow, white, white, red, red. That looks like the outlet. Plugged it in, and when I flipped the switch, it's like my brain just went, oh, we're here. This is great. This is me. Nothing was like it. I asked you this before, like before we actually recorded it, is like, what was the first thing that made you feel something when it came to gaming? I think that was it. That first flip of the switch, that first CTV TV coming on and it just starts playing the game. Man, nothing's like it.
Yeah, and yeah, of course, I told you before the podcast, like in my early days of gaming, I pretty much speed ran from 1985 and to the 90s. And I think when I was like about 6 or 7, GameCube started to become the thing. And the uptake in graphical quality, especially with the PS2, of course, you know, I was like taken aback. I was like gaming could turn into this?
Oh, yeah. But speaking of GameCube, let's go through the systems that you had as a kid. Like, so me personally, I never really owned a system after the SNES. My uncle pawned my SNES, and I never saw it ever again. And I didn't get another personal console until the PS3. But I did experience all the consoles in between that through friends' houses, going over your friends. My mom used to be like, go outside and play. Don't go over nobody's house. And I'm like, all right. And I went straight over somebody's house that had the latest console.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were the consoles you had when you were growing up, man?
So I started out with the NES, and then my grandparents also had like the gaming consoles. My grandpa was like very huge into tech, and so like I'd go over to his place and play like the Sega Genesis. Once I discovered Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I was like, yeah, this is way better than Mario. So I just went to like that, played like the SNES over at friends' houses. I've experienced the N64. I still remember my time like going to like the kiosks in Walmart, playing like some Pokemon Stadium here and there.
Oh yeah. Shout out Walmart for those kiosks, man. Like we used to go into Walmart and just dip away from our parents, and they knew where we were going. Like neck, crick, and all. Like I could stand there for hours looking up at those TVs, man.
Right. I'll just tell my mom like, yeah, just go shop for whatever you need to. She'll probably take like 2 hours or so.
All right.
I'm like,
and if it was me, or did you not feel the pain in your body until after the sesh was done, and then you got in the car, you're like, man, my neck kind of hurt.
Yeah, but the pain was worth it.
Oh, it was definitely worth it, for sure. We all understand like being a kid and being all that and figuring things out, but now as an adult, when you see those early gaming moments, do you think games affected how you interact with the world?
Most definitely.
In what ways?
Well, of course, it had to be through like my schooling and how I saw things in the classroom. Yes, growing up, I mean, I was like a victim of bullying and whatnot, but it was pretty much for like the things that you would associate with gamers, like back in the 2000s, like skinny, nerdy guy with glasses who have the tendency to be like one of the smartest kids in the class.
Yeah.
And the funny thing though, playing video games, I don't know what it is about video games and math. For some reason, I was like a math like wizard in like elementary school. I still remember like doing all these like tests and whatnot where like I can probably complete like 100 questions in like 2 or 3 minutes tops. But it not only like opened the door, I would say, for me to like explore learning at like a higher level.
See, you're on a boat on your own right there. I didn't get the math gene. I got the problem solving gene. And I think that brings me to this great question here. What skills outside of like entertainment did gaming teach you as a kid? Like looking back.
So gaming definitely like it taught me like interpersonal skills, how to socialize. Even though I was an introvert back then, like I mean, people can like read like Harry Potter and whatnot and kind of like learn about the interactions. But for me, it was gaming. Some of my friends would call it, I'm a goofy guy.
Hey, no way around it. It's just how it is.
Right. And of course, when it came to my jokes and whatnot, like I always like think of like Crash Bandicoot and the early like Disney games. Like you really knew I wasn't yucking around.
Yeah. That is classic goofy reference. Speaking of Crash Bandicoot, right? Let's take the original like PlayStation Crash Bandicoot games. What were we thinking when like we saw him and just like the sounds? I think that was the first game where the sound development like captivated me more than the gameplay.
Yeah, I think it was a lot with the PlayStation 1 where like sound really played a major factor into like the gaming experience. So like, yeah, like we mentioned, like Crash Bandicoot. And it was not only that, it was, there's just a lot of other like factors outside of just the gameplay. When I first discovered Crash, it was in the commercials. And
wait, the ones where he was shit talking Mario?
he went up to, I remember this vividly. He went up to Nintendo of America and he had all these TVs and it was like, yeah, plumber boy, guess who's back?
Those were good. Man, they don't do commercials like that anymore, man. Like, those were the greatest commercials that ever do exist. And I think that's what propelled me to be a PlayStation guy, was those commercials and Tekken 2. Like, those was what cemented me as like, oh yeah, we like Sony. Sony's great.
Yeah, just those early games. And like, we talking about like the 90s, like fighting games and multiplayer games, especially with the N64. That was the system's selling point. And while it didn't necessarily like grasp to my attention, it did during the GameCube era. And like a lot of, even though that system like wasn't at the time like appreciated too much, I think it was after that era where people were like, oh, the GameCube was a banger of a system. I mean, there are people like even in today's limelight who are still talking about GameCube games to this day. Like, for example, the 1,000 Year Door, Paper Mario. Yeah.
Wait, no, wait. Is that the Mario one? That wasn't Paper Mario, was it?
There was like a couple of Paper Mario games. So there was the original from the N64.
Yeah.
And then there was the 1,000 Year Door in the GameCube. So like Nintendo just announced like a couple of months ago that they're doing like a remaster of that game and for the Switch. And it's funny though, because like so many people are talking about 1,000 Year Door. People are still talking about and playing Melee, Super Smash Brothers, Mario Party. It's like those games are still stuck to us to this day.
See, and I think that brings us to this next topic I want to bring up is Melee, right? Melee was such a cultural staple where even to this day, I remember playing Link for the first time and realizing that that's my guy. Like the way he moved, the way his kit was set up in Melee. And it even harkens back to the multiplayer aspect of Nintendo. Like they may have been losing on the cultural end to Sony, but when it came to face-to-face playing with your friends, you were not having more fun than on a Nintendo at that time period. And do you think that like culturally, who was the most significant company out of all of the early styles of gaming when it came to us in our generations when we were younger?
So of course, like we grew up in an era like right when like cell phones and technology were like really on the up and up. And I mean, still like we were still like going to friends' houses and playing those games. So like to answer your question, I would say Nintendo probably had the most impact, in my opinion, culturally, because you still like had that aspect of wanting to go to a friend's house to like play Smash Brothers or Mario Party. And I think while I didn't have too many friends, once I got into college, like I started making friends like since like, oh, you play Smash? You had a GameCube that you brought with the CRT? Oh yeah, let's get a couple rounds of Melee going.
Let's do it. You know what's crazy about that is I think out of all the game consoles, I as a kid imitated more Nintendo characters than I imitated any other character of any other console. Like, wow, I love Tekken, and that's like my childhood staple.
Yes.
We all did the Mario jump one time, the woohoo, like we all did the look, hand in the air trying to hit the box. And something about it is it's cemented into you as a gamer, especially if you were growing up in that era. I want to ask you, wouldn't you think that like that wonder, that sense that we all had, wouldn't you think that died for you? Because the most of the time I talk to people, especially here recently, we all have this sense of like gaming ain't what it used to be. And I don't think it's because we gotten older. I think there's something fundamentally that changed about gaming itself. When do you think that happened for you?
So I think I think that change started whenever the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, when that era came out. And with the introduction, well, it wasn't really the introduction, but it was when like online gaming became popularized. I know like they had it for like the PlayStation 2 and I guess the original Xbox back then, but it wasn't like during the PlayStation 3 and Xbox era. You had like those stores where you can buy games digitally now. And I think it was like a major shift and we're like, oh my God, like this is like amazing. But little did we know that it was going to make a major impact into the gaming industry today.
I definitely agree with you. I agree 100% the fact that I think it was just the accessibility when it came down to the original Xbox and early PlayStation 2. Like you had to get the extra like dongle that then screw into the back and then had to go to connect to your Wi-Fi. And we had potato internet back then compared to now.
Right.
But as soon as like the later versions of PS3 came out and Xbox 360 where they actually got it down and you didn't need that, that's when I definitely think it changed and died a little bit for me. And as we talked about earlier with our early gaming moments, do you think kids now actually get that feeling that we did with these games or no?
In a sense, like the kids will feel like nostalgic for certain games. In their cases, a lot of the time it'll probably be the same game they play. Like for example, like a lot of kids are into Fortnite, and Warzone and whatnot. And actually, some of those games they're not even probably old enough to play.
Well, come on now. But when we go through our history, we play some games that we were not old enough to play. Where we were
Well, yeah,
we all knew what Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was.
Yeah,
we had to write down the cheat codes on paper. Like, there was no internet then.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I think there are things that the generation today will, it will miss out on. Like us, like with a new video game coming out, like with the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series.
Yeah.
Like figuring out the cheats and everything. Like, you remember the Konami code?
What is it? Left, right, up, down, A, B, start?
I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, and I think that's so weird that that's a funny joke for us now. It's like, haha, classic gaming. If I said that to a kid now, which I probably am dead wrong on that, let's be honest. But if I said it to a kid now, they'd be like, wow, what'd you just tell me a bunch of letters and bases for? Like, I don't know. So how we gain certain skills, right? We gain certain like insights when it came to like, we had math, I had problem solving. I'm kind of terrified. Well, I want to say terrified. I'm excited for them, but I'm also like petrified how they had to go through it. The level of skills that they develop now, like if I was a kid playing Little Big Planet, for instance, right? Do you know the amount of thinking you have to do Little Big Planet to them? It just comes naturally.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think any game we played at a young age had the level of like intricate thinking as Little Big Planet does.
Yeah, and like a lot of the modern games, like a lot of developers like create like games that were based off of like their classics. Like for example, on the Switch there was like Super Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Well, and on the Wii U it started on the Wii U, and then the sequel came out for the Switch. But just seeing how insane, so intricate that the levels are, it's like you have to almost grow a second brain just to get through some of the levels. And I was like, I just think if they had something like that back in the day, I think our problem solving skills will go right out the roof. Like, the detective agencies will be like looking for us for.
It's like, what was your level on a Super Mario Maker? Please tell me.
Yeah, you're working for the Secret Service.
That man is a robot. He is not human. Man. Even though we say that died, like there's certain things that were like they still get benefits, but it's not the same. And we understand Melee. We understood like the N64, Mario 64, right? The cultural staple of like Mario platforming. Do you think there's anything that happened recently that has moved the culture of gamers as significant as like the Mario Series 64 or Ocarina of Time or anything like that?
Yes. I can give you two examples. One, making a positive impact, and one making a negative impact. So the positive impact, is essentially reimagining games and then also like the remaster remakes. I feel like we're still in that era where developers are like, oh yeah, you love this game that came out in 1995. Let's remake it for y'all. And I think Crash Bandicoot Trilogy came out.
The Insane Trilogy,
Yeah, when that came out, like that was like this is how you do it. This is the staple of how like remastered games should go. And then when they dropped Crash 4, they used the skills and like the ideas that Naughty Dog had to create something new out of it. And I know like there's some developers that do it pretty good, but I feel that like it created a major impact in gaming just simply because like now, like while like we old heads are enjoying, feeling nostalgic, we got a new set of players that are learning the basics and why we love the games that we love.
For sure. I definitely agree with that 100%. Now, when it comes to now as an adult, we have adult money. We have the ideology to go back and actually experience things. Let's talk about your recent gaming memories. Like, what's something that is solidified to you as like, even though it's not the same, it's going to be all right? What's the recent memory that's done that for you?
I would say when the Switch came out, so I didn't get the Switch until like a year after. But that was, I know I purchased 2 or actually 3 games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe,
Had to.
Mario Odyssey, and Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Now Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, it just brought back a spark in gaming that I never would have thought. And of course, like I know we're talking about like Nintendo games,
Yeah, well,
for the most part, but like
you are a Nintendo guy though. That's what I know.
yeah, it's just revolutionary how like, you know, Breath of the Wild was a different take on the Zelda formula, and the review scores, its Game of the Year marking solidified that as a certified hood classic.
Certified hood classic.
And it just like after playing Breath of the Wild and even now like Tears of the Kingdom, like it makes me want to go back to like old Zelda games.
Yeah. I'll go play Majora's Mask. Like,
yeah, and I think like I own a Switch and I own like the PlayStation 5.
yeah.
And I think that's something that I wish Sony would do better. So like if I'm playing like, well, I know like they're good with this with Ratchet and Clank, but like other franchises crash before like the whole Activision merger. Like I wouldn't mind like playing the original games on that system, or even use like my CDs for those, like the backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
I think that's something Xbox did like really well.
Good. I'm not gonna lie, as a Sony like fanboy, when they announced that they opened the servers back up for the original Call of Duties, like Modern Warfare 2, man, I literally thought about it. I was like, do I need to go buy an Xbox right now? Do I want to go jump in those little toxic lobbies just to feel a bite of something?
Right.
And I just, the whole industry needs to take notice of what Microsoft did there. And I don't even think Microsoft themselves are like trying to hoard the fact of what they did. It's like, we're the only ones that could do it. Ha. They literally set an example and they're like, please follow it. Because if you do, that opens up competition again for who has the best backlog, who has the best like current accessibility of games. And I think that would revive that spark that we've been missing, because it's almost like they're disconnecting themselves from their past.
Yeah, and I wanted to get to like the negative aspect.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where like we talk about like Call of Duty and like once that merger like came about and Microsoft like opening up servers back again. I think it's a lot of the time, and it's more evident with like multiplayer games, first person shooters and whatnot, and those esports heavy games where like the developers like try to do their own thing, which is fine, which is a-okay. But I feel like like if you're going to do that, you have to keep the integrity of the game. And of course, being a Call of Duty fan, like I feel like with some of the recent Call of Duty games, like they missed the mark on it. Just simply in the sense that I know like a lot of those games, it almost seems like you're dropping $60 to $70, but yet they're like shoving you in the face with microtransactions, opportunities to purchase the battle pass. Even like some of the skins and camos that like back in like the 360 era where, you know, you had to grind, you had to grind your weapons to
that gold gun.
Yeah. Black Ops 3, I remember like getting the gold weapons for the first time. And then now to today, it's like, man, it doesn't really feel that I don't feel that oomph that I get.
I don't see that sense of just like, I won't say sense of just like that sense of like accomplishment or that sense of respect. If I got killed, like let's take Modern Warfare 2, right? Because that was my baby. That's the one that's my first online game that I played consistently, like every day after school, MW2. We all said it before when you got killed, like, that's some BS. Like he's just hacking, and then you watch him and he has a gold gun and 360 no scope to you. You're like, I can't say nothing about it. You got that one, Chief. And to know what that person did to achieve that, or prestiges, right? And that man's prestige. This is like you put a lot of time in there, or you're an animal. And now when I see prestiges, now when I see cool skins, I'm like, you paid for it. Like I don't even think that you worked for it anymore. I just think you shelled out money.
Yeah, and I think that's a major problem. I know like Call of Duty is going to, I think it's either like next week or the week after they're coming out with their Modern Warfare 3 air quotes.
Yeah,
and what they're doing is so all the starter maps are the original MW2, like was it 2009?
Yeah.
Like there's all those maps, but like even after like playing the beta, like there are still like some things that are evident. I know like on my YouTube channel, I have a video that mentioned that like during the last game, which was MW2, I pre-ordered it. Like the marketing towards that game was like amazing. Like it was like this graphical uptake. This was going to feel like the OG Modern Warfare 2. And once I played it, it was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Hey, let's be honest though. As I'm also a Call of Duty guy, and when I had the new ones come out, I love the different take they had on it. I just wish I didn't have to pay so much or have to be thrown in the face of microtransactions, like I said earlier.
Right.
I just wish that was not holding down the experience.
Exactly.
Like, don't create some convoluted whole upgrade system where I gotta get this gun to get that attachment. If I want that attachment, I can get this thing. Like, that's stupid. Just let me have the gun. Yeah. I need to get through the gun levels and unlock the stuff. That's it.
Like, I think when they introduced like the battle royales, I thought the battle royales were like amazing. Some of their like Call of Duty's like side modes, in a sense, were always amazing to me, even to this day. So like the first Call of Duty game that I owned was Black Ops 1. And like, you know, after playing multiplayer, which was like the staple, I was like, okay, let me go off to play zombies. And once I played that, I was hooked. I was like, I'm buying Call of Duties now just to play the zombies.
You're bold.
And I mean, it's still like that to this day. And I think it provided an element to gaming that I've never thought. Like in the multiplayer, your objective is to get as many points killing the other team as possible.
My objective was to be the goddamn goat, to be an animal, to be a beast.
Yes. In zombies, You could even create your own objective if you like.
Yeah.
You can either go the survival route where you survive for X amount of rounds. You could complete the Easter egg or the story objective, or you could just hunt for just for shits and giggles. Just camp in the first room and just stay there. DMZ in the last year, which was like a PvE or PvPvE experience, which was amazing because you had the creativity of what you wanted to do. It wasn't just go in there and kill the enemy team. It was like you can do like a certain amount of objectives, and I think that's fascinating, even like with like the gaming memories, because that's the thing that like got me into like gaming in the 3D era. Because like with Mario 64, Crash Bandicoot, like you can freely move around and do things. And while like, yeah, there's a set objective, let me add on my own objective. Like, let me finish this level as fast as possible, or let me get like the coins or whatever in a specific pattern or order. Like, let me create my own experiences. And when it's fixed, then it's like, if it's not the nostalgia that I felt before, it's going to fall flat.
When it comes to culture, right, in the modern era, let's give our top 2 things that we think has changed the culture for the better. I'll give you mine per se. I will say that accessibility, while I do complain about, everybody should have the right to game on a PC, let's not get it twisted that your basic entry-level console is such a good experience that you basically have a mini PC on your desk now. They've always been mini PCs, but now it's really starting to get to the graphical power of old PCs. And my second one is while I complain that it's not face-to-face and I can't experience sitting next to my friends and talking that mad crap or smacking when 21 stuck and Madden, we're not using the social capabilities of our systems how they should be. Like, it's more of like a second afterthought. Like, that's my friend, I add him, we play when he's online. Like, there should be so much more use of integration. Like, we as gamers should have pride in like, yo, what's your gamer link? If we had like a gamer social media that only could be used on your consoles, that would be, I don't know, like something about it. I think we're just not using it enough.
So, yeah, and even thinking about that, I think one is, I guess my first thing that I guess cultural change is kind of like I always think of Discord whenever you refer to that. And I think it wasn't really when like I graduated college and like, I got the phone numbers of like all my friends, and we decided to just create a Discord channel just for us to just hang out and play games. It could just be just us, all of us hanging out. And I think third-party applications have played a major role in the modern gaming space. Would be one cultural change that has positively impacted us as gamers. And I think the second, which honestly ties into to that first, is esports. So like esports esports have been around since forever.
Yeah.
But like now it's like now it's getting to the point where like people are starting to get paid.
Oh yeah. Big money.
Yes. You see the League of Legends Worlds and like sold out stadiums and all that. Evo.
And love Evo, bro. Evo's so good.
Like just watching like the Tekken tournaments and
it amazes me. Like, it's chess. It's literally chess, but fighting. And that brings me to our last point that we're going to discuss. While even though we have this jaded memory of our nostalgia slipping through our fingers, right? we still have to recognize that gaming moves on, and we should accept that it still is a pleasure to be a part and to be a gamer, even no matter where you land on that generational spectrum. And making games as a career is something that we should still be jumping for joy at. It's like, we're creating a podcast right now. You have a YouTube channel. There's people who get paid millions of dollars to play League of Legends. Like, I think the narrative is changing about what it means to be a gamer. And what do you think about, or what are your aspirations for video gaming as a possible career? Like, how many avenues do you think that will open for people?
I think even with me starting my YouTube channel, so like a little bit about my like past. So when I think I was in middle school, I think that was when I discovered YouTube. And I think like late 2000s or something like that, 2006, 2007, something like that. And like I just see like these skits of like of just like people who like play video games, and they show their passion through skits or let's plays and whatnot. And I was like, I want to do that. And then I also had a love for music, so I was like, you know what, let me start out with the music route. And once I was like, you know, making remixes off of like popular games, like it generated conversations that I never had thought of doing. I know like my most popular video on my very first channel was like 300 to 400,000 views. And I was like astonished at that. And like, you know, when I left for college, you know, I kind of left the YouTube bit behind, but I always wanted to create content to generate conversations about gaming. And now that like I realized that, hey, I could actually make a living off of this, I feel like it will open up so many doors for not only just me, people who look like us, people who like, you know, are just like socially like outcast amongst the community. They always say like the extroverts are the ones who like strive in the modern society, but like now with the integration of like the internet and social platforms, now you're starting to have like the introverts come out the woodwork and start creating their own content and whatnot. So I would just say like the amount of avenues that are opening up just because you love gaming. You can start a YouTube channel where it's just Let's Plays. You can start streaming on Twitch. You can do a podcast. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Esports, all of that. And now the gaming companies, the developers of these games that we're like talking about and playing are now saying like, oh yeah, we want to support you. We want to bring you to like our events to play that next game. And now that's inspiring the generations forward to you know, take that route if they so be it.
If they so choose. Yeah, and even I would even take that a step further, especially when it comes to the behind the scenes work. There's so much things that are behind the scenes that go unnoticed. The commentators, the shoutcasters, the people who set up the stream, the guys who are behind the screens flipping between the channels,
Right.
like the agents that end up having the guys come out, the coaches who end up coaching, like it's amazing. And with that, I would love to reflect on all these things and actually ask you this last question. What is one thing that you wish your content will do? If anything else, what's the one thing that you like hope your content actually impacts people with?
It creates connections. I want my content to create everlasting friendships, create like discussions like that are just outside of the comment section. Not only promote myself as an individual, like, you know, one day like you might even see me like on the street and you say, hey, like, you know, I like that one video you did or whatnot, you know. And a lot of us, a lot of people in our generation are like now like getting married, starting to become like parents now. Like we're teaching like our kids like, you know, how to be like social in a way, how to, you know, interact with folks. So like I want to be like that part because like I grew up like as like an introvert, like eyes glued to the screen playing video games, and now like because of gaming and like me being able to watch other like big content creators, I want to be like one of the greats, one of those people who can say like my voice actually made an impact in my community.
Heck yeah, I love that, man. And speaking of that, speaking of your socials and everything, man, for everybody who does listen to this, I would like you to put out your socials, man. How are they going to reach you? How are they going to be able to see your content that you make?
So the majority of my content I make is on my YouTube channel. It is The Young King Ken. Sometimes my THs sound like D's, and it's spelled THEYUNGKINGKEN. And many of my other socials are my Twitter, Instagram is Young King Ken. I've just started a Discord server called The Young Kingdom, where you can get on and socialize about gaming, anime, sports, whatever. And yeah, and then my Twitch handle is Young King Ken. So mainly you'll catch me on my YouTube channel, and I'll post a video every once in a while about just me either discussing games. You'll see like gameplays and whatnot. So
Okay. Well, hey guys, if you enjoyed this conversation you had, definitely give him a follow. He's an awesome dude, doing great things in the community, especially when it comes to Let's Plays and, like he said, bringing people together and having those conversations. So I appreciate having you on, man. And for you guys out there, think about your own gaming journeys. Think about what it is that actually made you start in gaming. And until next time, we'll see you. See you. Peace.
thank you.